won't go into which ones, but the biggest and the strongest, and they said that was very impressive. They're all impressed. But today I'm delighted to welcome almost 24 of the biggest and most respected oil and gas executives in the world to the White House. It's an honor to be with them. We have many others that were not able to get in. I said if we had a ballroom, we'd have over 1,000 people. Everybody wanted. I never knew your industry was that big. I never knew you had that many people in your industry. But here we are. And if you, in fact, if you look,
this motherfucker talks about nothing.
Well, I got to look at this myself.
This motherfucker talks about nothing.
Wow. What a view. This is the door to the ballroom. Unusual time to look, but I figure we might as well do it. If the fake news would like to go back and take a look, you can, but you'll see a very big foundation that's moving. We're ahead of schedule in the ballroom and under budget. It's going to be, I don't think there'll be anything like it in the world, actually. I think it's will be the best. We went from, this is, as you know, our biggest room, which would seat 100 for dinner, maybe, if you're lucky, if you're nice and tight. And the ballroom will seat many, and it'll also take care of the inauguration with bulletproof glass, drone-proof ceilings and everything else, unfortunately, that today you need. So we're going to discuss how these great American companies can help rapidly rebuild Venezuela's dilapidated oil industry and bring millions of barrels of oil production to benefit the United States, the people of Venezuela, and the entire world. And yesterday, the number is 30 million barrels. I can't even, is that a correct number? 30 million barrels. You hear that, Peter? Of oil was given to us by Venezuela. That's a lot of oil. It's about $4 billion worth, and it's on its way to the United States right now. And we want to thank Venezuela for that. And we're working very well with them, obviously, or they wouldn't have been so generous. But they respect us again. They didn't respect us at all before. So that's money that goes to the United States. Some will go to Venezuela, and some will go to the oil companies, but not that, because that's already been extracted. So when you're not getting any of that, but when you start extracting, you'll get. But it's tremendous reserves, among the biggest in the world. Some people say it is the biggest in the world. And we're going to be working with Venezuela. We're going to be making the decision as to which oil companies are going to go in, that we're going to allow to go in. Going to cut a deal with the companies. We'll probably do that today or very shortly thereafter with Chris and Doug. And we're dealing with the country, so we're empowered to make that deal. And you have total safety, total security. One of the reasons you couldn't go in is you had no guarantees, you had no security, but now you have total security. It's a whole different Venezuela, and Venezuela is going to be very successful. And the people of the United States are going to be big beneficiaries, because we're going to be extracting, numbers of, in terms of oil, like few people have ever seen, actually. So you're dealing with us directly. You're not dealing with Venezuela at all. We don't want you to deal with Venezuela. Let me thank Vice President J.D. Vance, who's doing a fantastic job. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, likewise a fantastic job. I have good people.
This motherfucker's stressful, man.
I like him better than my first group.
If you listen to what this motherfucker says, he ain't saying shit.
We had a great first term. We had some great people there too, by the way. Look, we had a great first term. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country in the first term, but this is blowing it away. And you haven't seen anything yet. Everyone's been shocked by the numbers, 5.4% GDP. And that's despite the fact that we were badly hurt by the Democrat shutdown, of which they'd like to see if they could shut it down again. Secretary of the Interior, Doug Burgum, who's fantastic. Secretary of Energy, Chris Wright, recommended by Doug as being the greatest oil man anywhere in the world, because I wanted Doug for that job, energy, and Doug said, no, sir, there's a man named Chris Wright. I said, who the hell is Chris Wright? He said he's the most talented oil man anywhere in the world. I doubt you can get him, because typically all men make a lot of money, and women. They make a lot of money, but Chris came. You took one of the greatest salary
See
cuts
the bullshit
probably
this
in history.
motherfucker talking about?
But he's a fantastic person, loves our country, and many other important members of this team. And I want to thank them for their efforts. As you know,
He's
last week,
reading
the
it.
United
He's not
States
speaking
Armed
it.
Forces performed one of the most spectacular military operations in American
He's
history.
reading that shit.
Apprehending
Never
the
looked
outlaw
up.
dictator Nicolas Maduro for his crimes against the United States, crimes for which
He's reading his
he has
script
now been indicted
on
and
air.
is in federal court awaiting trial. And he killed many people.
He's
Millions of
reading
people,
his script on
actually,
air.
and allowed jails, prisons, mental
You
institutions,
won't look.
insane asylums, drug dealers, drug addicts,
Back the
to pour
camera
into
and
our
talk.
country totally unchecked because of Sleepy Joe Biden's policy of open borders. The stupidest thing I've ever seen. We're getting them all out.
He'll lose track.
The departure of Maduro makes it possible an incredible future
I
for
wonder who writes
both
for him.
nations, Venezuela and the United States, in which we will more closely integrate the economies of two major energy powers in the Western Hemisphere.
Yada, yada,
Energy
yada. K Squared TV
coming out of
2.0.
Venezuela was very
I'll
small.
holler at
One
y'all,
of the
because
things
he's
the
not
United
really
States
saying
gets
shit.
out of this will be
And this is
even
just
lower
wasting
energy
fucking
prices.
time.
We have people